Okay, everybody, welcome back. Thank you again for attending the continuation of the first ever EGW Utility Solutions Conference. Again, we know how valuable your time is, and we're thrilled that you've chosen to spend yours with us this morning. The title of this particular session is The Future of Hydraulic Butt Fusion. Joining us to discuss this topic this morning is Trace Tuttle with Ritmo America. We really like to thank Trace for taking some of his time to share his expertise with us. As with all of our sessions, there will be a door prize given away in each of these sessions. The door prizes have been donated by various sponsors, and a great big thank you to all of our sponsors for their donations that benefit these sessions and for their overall support of this week's event. The session's door prize for this session is being sponsored by Ritmo America, and that will be a $100 Visa gift card. The drawing will be held directly following the session, and you'll be contacted if your name is drawn. Here in just a minute, I'll properly introduce Trace, but first I wanted to just kind of review the ground rules for the sessions. Again, you can see that we're bringing the conference to you via Microsoft Teams live events. For those of you familiar with Microsoft Teams or Zoom or whatever, there's going to be some similarities to those types of meetings, but there'll also be some significant differences as well. Live events functions quite a bit differently than a virtual meeting rooms that we're all used to being in during COVID. This, the first difference, while you can see us, we cannot see you. Live events works like a virtual presentation. We can see who is all in attendance. If your screen name is listed under your name, that you have to actually do yourself, but we cannot actually see your smiling faces this morning. Difference number two is you can hear us, but we cannot hear you. If you try to talk to us, we will not know. So there's no need to even mute your mics because there's no mic to mute in this format. You can, however, interact with us via the live or the chat function, the question and answer chat function. You'll notice a little chat icon on the top of your screen. It's a little comment bubble with a question mark in the middle of it. If you click that, it'll open a Q&A chat box that will allow you to submit questions. So as questions come up throughout the session, and I would reiterate throughout the session, we would encourage you to submit those questions to us. I'll be collecting your questions as we go along, as they're submitted, and then relaying them to Trace once we transition into the Q&A portion of the session. And just as a side note, when you submit questions while Trace is speaking, this will not create any sort of interruption as we progress through the presentation. And so please just feel free to submit your questions as they arise. I'll be responsible for kind of managing all of that. All right, that's a wrap with the ground rules. At this time, I'd like to introduce Trace. Trace Tuttle is the North American Sales Manager for Ritmo America. Prior to joining Ritmo in 2007, he worked in the natural and propane gas industries in Central Florida. After using Ritmo tools for a couple of years, he went to work for them. And he's been able to expand Ritmo's market share with their industry-leading technology for both butt and electrofusion. And now, without further ado, I will hand the controls off to Trace, and he can take it from here. Trace, you're up.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Phil. Thank you to the entire EGW team for this opportunity to participate. What we're going to show today is what Ritmo has brought to the market for the water, gas, sewer, the various municipality industries, as well as the oil fields, etc. And that is the operation of our hydraulic butt fusion equipment using our Easy Life system, which is a data logging system. This is in an attempt to create a much more consistent fused joint for every single joint on every single job. By using this process, we will show that following the basic steps of what the equipment calls for based upon the ASTM F2620, that every joint should be similar across the board, just with the consistency. With that being said, we'll start looking at our equipment. We'll have both an all-terrain line as well as a trailer line. The difference between these two, the all-terrain line will have an onboard generator system along with traction control and a drive system, and all of the trailer units require a power source and of course to be towed around the yard, so to speak. So as we move on here, all of our equipment is based upon the high interfacial pressure system. There again, it's the ASTM F2620, and all of those ranges are from 2-inch IPS all the way through 36-inch IPS. The all-terrain unit operates through the Easy Life system. You've got a self-propelled drive system depending on the size of the unit. It could be a two-wheel drive, two-wheel steering unit, as well as when you get to the larger unit, like the 24-inch machine, it's a four-wheel drive, four-wheel steering, and you can actually crab crawl this particular unit on the job site for easier use. The units, all of our units, can be used with both IPS inserts, DIPS inserts, and millimeter pipe inserts as well, all of which can be changed in and out with our smart lock technology for the changing in and out of the inserts into the jaws. We do use a master cylinder, we use a master insert when going from some of our 14-inch equipment down to the 4, 6, and 8 sizes, and then as well when we go up to our 36-inch machine coming down to 14-inch, we'll use a master insert system as well. Here on the diagram of the Delta 355 all-terrain, you'll notice that the control panel is to the right. We've got the onboard generator in the back for our 355 units. They are all Honda motors. Once you go to the 500, the 20-inch machine, or the 630, 24-inch machine, or even the 1000, the 36-inch machine, we switch over to a diesel motor power. For in-ditch use, we can very easily pull off the set of jaws from the chassis of the unit. There is an in-ditch kit that is required to go with this when you do so. The nice thing about this and the functionality of this type of design is we do not have to remove the fourth jaw or the outer jaw in order to accommodate T's, crosses, lateral Y's, or elbows. We can simply make an adjustment with how the jaws 3 and 4 are bracketed, and that way we're not losing parts, we're not losing pieces. We can simply make an adjustment to the jaws and accommodate those fittings. On our small sizes, we do have 2 manual size units that go from 1-inch to 5-inch, and then a manual unit that goes 2-inch to 6-inch. But as far as hydraulic goes, we have a 2-inch to 8-inch machine, and then a 4-inch to 14-inch machine. So that's the Delta 250 trailer, and then the Delta 355 trailer and all-terrain. There's the mention of the smart lock patented device that allows for quick and easy removal of the inserts on any of the units of this size. The medium diameter, we're going to jump from 8-inch up to 20-inch IPS. So that encompasses typically the Delta 500 trailer or Delta 500 all-terrain. Those will range from 6-inch IPS, and the jaws themselves will actually allow you to do 20-inch IPS as well. The one thing you'll notice about these 2 pictures and the previous pictures with the trailer, the Delta 250 trailer and so forth, are the control panels are all identical, the same. So if you can operate that 2.8 unit, you can operate the 14-inch machine, the 20-inch machine, 24, 36-inch machine, etc. The one feature that our 500 unit has is our patented assisted jaw opening and closing. They're essentially assist cylinders. Those jaws can become pretty heavy when you've got any of the inserts in there, whether they're the 6-inch, 8, 10, 12, etc. So there is an assist device on each one of those jaws to accommodate that weight as you put those inserts in and out. The medium to large, now we're jumping up to the units that will go up to 24-inch and even 36-inch. On that 24-inch machine, which is the Delta 630 trailer or Delta 630 all-terrain, or even going up to the Delta 1000 trailer, all of those jaws are hydraulically opened and closed, hydraulically locked. The heating plate, the facer, even the pipe rollers to guide the pipe into the jaws, those are all hydraulically driven so that it's a lot more user-friendly and allows you to operate it in a more safe environment. This 24-inch machine here in particular is the four-wheel drive, four-wheel steering, which allows you to crab crawl the unit around the job site for easier maneuverability. Large diameter unit, the largest one we have goes up to 36-inch IPS. And with a set of master inserts, you can reduce that all the way down to 14-inch IPS. So that's quite a range of going 14 IPS all the way to 36-inch IPS. This particular unit is our trailer unit. It requires a power source. The control panel is still your standard Easy Life control panel. It's not interchangeable with the smaller units, but the operation and the design are identical. So if you can operate one, you can operate all. A little piece of information that's going to be happening here real soon for RIPMO and EGW, and that is that this 36-inch unit will soon be available in the US on tracks as well. There again, the operation of the 36-inch unit, you've got hydraulic jaws that help opening and closing, hydraulic locking of the jaws. Same thing with the heater plate and the facer. All of this is designed to increase productivity, safety, and efficiency. As you look through the list of differences, or I should say more along the similarities between the all-terrain line and the trailer line, essentially every component on every machine from your 250, 2-inch to 8-inch, all the way up to your 36-inch machine are all identical. The only difference between the trailer line and the all-terrain is the onboard power source and the drive system, the self-propelled drive system. Everything else is standard across the board, including the Easy Life operation. The Easy Life system for us is our way to ensure that every single joint is done identical to the previous. The operator is trained in the basic setting of drag pressure, facing, preheat, watching your bead form, going into soaking for the time parameter called or the visual bead size calls for, and then finally into the cooling or fusion step 3. This Easy Life system will essentially force you to follow those steps throughout the procedure. And if it's followed that way, you'll get the consistent bead and reduce your errors to as close to zero as possible. The one thing that we have done to go with our Easy Life system is our RIPMO Set and Go app. Currently, you can download this from any app store for free, and you will be able to access all of our equipment, all of our hydraulic equipment, I should say, from our 1-inch to 5-inch hydraulic unit all the way up to our 36-inch hydraulic unit. And they're all identified as the ASTM spec. In addition to those, you can also get those units all the way up to 63-inch. And with that, you can select the various other standards whether it be for DVS or ISO. All of those are available there as well. So essentially what you do is you go in, you select your machine, you select the ASTM standard, select your pipe size. In today's demo, we're going to do 4-inch IPS. The SDR is 11.5. And you'll be able to look at that on your app, put it right into the Easy Life control panel, and follow the steps. Set drag pressure, face it, preheat, soak, cool. At the end of it, you can then download straight out of the Easy Life control panel on a USB thumb drive, and download it and essentially email it anywhere with an update to the system, to the app, and to the Easy Life system. You can communicate it, allow it to communicate back and forth between your smartphone and the control panel via Wi-Fi, which will you can then essentially email it live time to somebody who is putting together a report for you. When it's all said and done, our all-terrain and trailer lines, the benefits are increased performance, decrease of errors, enhances productivity, easy to use, a system that will take you from 2-inch to 36-inch, all with following the ASTM F2620. It will allow you to have a GPS coordinate of every single weld that you've done, which allows for traceability, simple in-ditch use, and ultimately a successful and safe job site. So that's the end of my presentation here. The next thing we will do is we will pull up a video, a demo video that we did recently with the Delta 250 trailer. And we will do the 4-inch IPS and SDR 11.5. And I will talk through the procedure as we do it, followed by short or the remaining short question and answers. Thank you, everyone. So here we are. We've got the machine set up. I'm setting the drag pressure, and by setting the drag pressure, I open the jaws up all the way. I push the OK button, which is a safety feature on the Easy Life control panel. Then I pushed the drag pressure button once. As soon as I saw the jaws move, I pressed it a second time, which automatically records your drag pressure. It puts it into the system and adds it to your fusion pressures that have been preset into the machine. At which point, I open the jaws back up. I then installed the facer, put it into the facing mode, and then it started facing. At this point here, we are facing to the stops, which we have on this facer, both in the front and the back. I know there are those out there that don't face to the stops. They look for the long continuous strips off of both sides of the pipe. But in our case, we can do both. Now what I'm doing is I'm closing the pipe, checking for my alignment, looking for a high-low, front-back, making sure that everything is lined up well. At this point, we can take isopropyl alcohol, clean the face of the pipe, open the jaws back up completely, push the OK button to make sure everything is being followed procedure-wise. Push button number 1 for preheat, closes up against the heater. Now we're just looking for the bead to form on both sides of the heater all the way around the pipe. Once I see it's there, then I go to the soaking mode, which drops the pressure to drag pressure only. And it soaks for a parameter. We put a default time parameter in here. So with that, I will start watching the bead, and you'll see me reach up and adjust the time parameter with the up and down buttons, and I'll actually decrease the time a little bit because I actually see the bead forming well. Once I've decreased the time to where it looks right, then what I'll do is, and here I am adjusting that time. what I'll do is I'll let that time expire, which is probably an additional 10 seconds or so, I believe. At which point the jaws will open automatically. The stripper bar will pull the heater away from both sides of the pipe. I'll remove the heater. I'll hit button number 3 for fusion or cooling time. The jaws will go back together automatically and begin our countdown for the cooling time. Sorry, I'm using the hand motion there. I was actually talking to the operator of the camera during this video shoot last week. So there it goes. It pops off both sides. I hit the button, comes back together, forms the bead, starts the countdown for cooling. Following this procedure, every bead, every joint should look almost identical to each other. And it's the same all the way around. It's a nice looking bead. So at this point, it's going to cool for 4-inch SDR 11.5 calls for somewhere between 4 and 5 minutes. So in an effort to get to question and answers, I will let Mike know that this part of the demo video has concluded and we're ready for some Q&A. Thank you.
Okay. I love Q&A. We've already got a few questions that have popped in, and I do encourage anybody that that will be, that has some questions, feel free to shoot those in. We'll go ahead and get going on some of the ones we've already got. First question I've got is, how many years has Ritmo been around?
Here in the U.S., we've been around since 2001. As far as Ritmo in the world, we just celebrated our 40th birthday here a few years ago when we opened originally in 1979 in Padova, Italy. And even prior to 2001, Ritmo had sold some equipment to various fitting manufacturers across the U.S. and Canada. And there's that equipment is still out there working today. But as far as our showroom, offices, etc., we're located here in Central Florida, a little town called Lake Wales, and we've been in this building since 2006.
I noticed you didn't use any levers or pressure relief adjustment valves during the process. You just kept pushing buttons on what looked like a computer screen. I'm used to seeing the levers. What's that all about?
Well, the design of the Easy Life system is just that. It's removed the levers. It's removed the pressure adjustment valve, the pressure relief valve, and the actual pressure gauge itself, the stopwatch. All of these are no longer needed with this design of equipment. So instead of you having to manually adjust the levers and valves, etc., to find your drag pressure, as well as face pressure, as well as your preheat and your soaking, all of that is done truly, as you said, through pushing buttons through the Easy Life system.
Okay. How many Easy Life systems are currently in service in the field?
Oh wow, let's do some quick math. Well, as far as overall, I mentioned earlier about some of the fitting manufacturers that are out there. There's probably more than 100 fitting units across the U.S. and Canada. And when I say that, I'm referring to the customer or distributor that manufactures their own fittings: elbows, T's, crosses, lateral Y's. 90% of that equipment of ours that's in the field is the Easy Life system. So in fact, that was where the Easy Life system was born. So what we've done there is we took that design that was used for fabrication and we moved it over to the field equipment for the contractors to use on all of the equipment, from a 2-inch to 36-inch unit for the high pressure systems, and from 1.5 to 63-inch on the low interfacial pressure units. So we've had the Easy Life system in the field since roughly 2006, 2005, 2006.
Okay. Does Ritmo produce equipment other than butt fusion?
Oh, yes, we do. As a matter of fact, we do for the contractor use. We have the butt fusion units, both manual and hydraulic. Then we have socket fusion from 1/2-inch up through 4-inch. And then for the metric folks, we have it from 16 millimeter to 125 millimeter. We also have socket fusion assist tools on those larger diameters to assist you in putting that socket fusion joint together. And then lastly, for the contractor, we have our electrofusion line, which will allow you to do electrofusion from essentially 1/2-inch through 63-inch, along with the accessories needed to do a correct joint there with pipe scrapers, aligners, things of that nature. On the other side of the coin, we go back to the fabricators. We have various equipment from extrusion welders all the way through our large TY machines for all of those customers as well.
Okay. Parts available. What are the parts? Where are parts available, and where is it serviced?
As far as our parts go for North America, everything is handled in our facility here in Lake Wales, Florida. We have approximately 48,000 square feet of showroom, training, maintenance and repair, our corporate offices for North America, and then all of our inventory of both new items for sale as well as repair and maintenance parts. That being said, with our partnership with EGW, we will soon be able to supply spare parts, maintenance, as well as repair, electrofusion, recalibration, things of that nature, right there with EGW in Carrollton, Texas.
Okay. On the GPS part of the unit, what is the accuracy of the GPS?
Our design of it is to get you within 12 to 15 feet of where the joint was actually done. That's we're not military grade, but that's as close as we can get and keep and maintain a strong price point for our contractors in the field.
Okay. On the data logger, you mentioned data logger. Does this unit have a data logger, and what's that memory size like? And then what information does it track?
So all of our units, from our smallest unit, the 2.8 machine, all the way to our 36-inch machine, all have the data logger come standard with the unit. So it's all of the machines operate through the data logger, all of which have a standard memory of 4,000 welds. So at 4,000 welds, you can download at the end of each job through a USB thumb drive. And once you download that particular job, you can go back and erase the memory so that you're back to 4,000 weld memory on the unit. As far as your data report goes, your data report is going to have the description of the machine, the unit itself, a serial number. It will have the version of software on the unit itself. You'll be able to input the operator or technician's name that's doing the job. You'll be able to put in notes pertaining to the job as far as maybe a purchase order number or a job site location. And then it will have the pipe size as far as the inches in diameter, as well as the SDR wall thickness. And then the actual meat of the report will then list drag pressure, the amount of time that you spent in step 1, preheating, watching your bead form, the amount of time and pressure that's used in step 2 for your soaking, and then the amount of time and pressure used in step 3 for your cooling and fusion. And then ultimately, each one of those welds will list the GPS coordinate of where the weld was done.
Okay. We've got another one. If we need training when purchasing the unit, is that available?
Yes, of course it is. So particularly in, let's call it the footprint of EGW, both Ritmo America as well as the various sales managers within EGW will all be trainers to go out and assist contractors in getting their comfort level and then their certificate for being able to actually operate whichever Ritmo machine it is they're using. And we can do that on both the butt fusion, electrofusion, and socket fusion.
Okay. On the particular machine in the video, what sizes of HDPE pipe will that particular unit fuse?
That unit was a Delta 250 trailer. So the inserts for your jaws on that will range 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8 inch. So you've got quite a range of that you can do on that particular unit.
Okay. I think that just about wraps the Q&A session. I'm just gonna, it looks like that's gonna be all for questions at this point. That's fantastic, Trace. I hope that everyone enjoyed that and got some information out of it. We want to thank everyone in attendance today for coming by and spending some of your morning with us. And I want to remind you that if you registered registered for the door prize, you will you're automatic. When you registered for the session, you're automatically registered for the door prize. The winner, as I mentioned earlier, that you'll be contacted via the information that you provided us in the registration so that we can get your shipping information and get you your prize, because if you win, you're going to want that. Again, we want to thank Trace for joining us today. Trace, before I let you go, do you have any additional information or any kind of closing comments that you'd like to share?
Well, once again, I'd like to thank EGW's team for allowing us to participate. And I'll reiterate the fact that if anybody comes up with any questions at a later date, just to please contact the email there at events@EGW, and I'll be happy to answer the emails once I receive that. And I'll answer any and all the questions.
Well, thank you very much. I know I learned a lot today, Trace. Hopefully we were able to get everyone's questions answered. You know, if for whatever reason, if we missed a question or if you weren't able to ask a question for any reason, or if one occurs to you later on, we want to make sure that you get that answer that you're looking for. Really want to make sure that everybody's questions get answered in this format. And there are multiple ways to reach out to us after these sessions end. We've created a special email address that I'll put that back up on the screen before we sign off. That's going to have email address, phone number, all that good stuff. And we'll get those questions back to you as soon as possible. If you do decide to call us, you call our main number. We'll get you routed to the best resource to get you an answer on that. Or if you can always call and talk to your EGW representative directly if you have any questions as well. We try to make sure that everybody's gets those questions answered regardless. Thank you again, everyone, for joining us this morning. We really enjoyed spending time with you. We look forward to seeing you in the next session, which I believe on this track 2 is composite solutions to reduce road plate headaches. That begins at 2:30 Central Time. So we'll see you guys at 2:30. Don't forget to register for that session if you haven't already. But thank you again. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Thanks, Mike.